It's springtime, and New York, which is usually seen as just cement giant buildings surrounded by skittering rats and busy, angry New Yorkers, it broke out in song when Trump came out of his court case. Watch this. The people love Trump. Not just the people, Black people love Trump. I'm Doug in Exile. We hate racism of all kinds, and we celebrate the free thinking Black people who turn against culture and what people say they must do and how they must think and embrace Trump.
We're going to be saving America. Our country is under siege. And take a look at Israel. Israel, all of a sudden, it doesn't feel bad. It has Biden. He doesn't know where he is. It's a real mess. We'll see what happens. I think he's a very good person. Did he brief you on his plan to stop this? Good luck. Thank you very much.
I mean, just the danger Trump puts himself in to go out in public. No barriers, I don't want to even think about what could happen. But here's Joy Reid with some true hatred on the subject.
There is something wonderfully poetic about the fact that despite the fact that even if convicted, he's not going to go to prison, the first person to actually criminally prosecute Donald Trump is a Black Harvard grad, the very kind of person that his former staff, the people who worked for him, Stephen Miller, et cetera, want to never be at Harvard Law School. But he was.
That's an outrageous lie. Just think of white people. Would they prefer that every Black person go through Harvard or not graduate high school? Who wishes that on anyone? Joy Reid it is just full of this bizarre conspiracy. Look, McAfee or whatever in the Fani Willis case, he's white. And I've got disdain for him because of his ideology, because of his decisions. I think the last thing on Trump's mind is that Alvin Bragg is Black. Sorry to break your heart, Joy Reid, because you're obsessed with your DNA and your skin color. Trump is concerned more with what's rolling around in this guy's head.
I love you, Trump. I love you, Trump. We love Trump. I love you, Trump. We love 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 Trump.
You see, the little minority kids, they love Trump until they're taught to hate him by MSNBC and Joy Reid. But Trump is going to make inroads into minority voters this year in a way that I don't think any Republican has probably since Reagan.
And he came out and graduated, and he's prosecuting you, Donald. And a Black woman is doing that same exact thing in Georgia. And a Black woman forced you to pay a $175 million fine that's out now also in question because the people who put it up, that might not be legit. Donald Trump is being held to account by the very multicultural, multiracial democracy that he's trying to dismantle.
She claims multicultural and multiracial, but she only named one race. She goes, Black woman, Black man, as if that skin color is what's causing their immoral claims against Trump. I don't credit the skin color. I always blame everyone for their own culture, for their nurture, not their nature. But Joy Reid, she's obsessed with the nature part of it, your DNA, as if that is what has to do with this thing. It's weird to me that this is how she sees the world. I actually feel sorry for her because this is a terrible mental slavery to be bound by this kind of hatred and racism, which is what it is. But look, here's Trump, who goes out and right before he goes in his car, he's shaking hands with police forces. Police forces are supposed to protect everyone, and I think everyone needs more police help in New York, and they're thanking him.
You guys are come on, get over here. We'll get in there.
I got bad news for Biden and the Democrats who are running on hating cops still, like it's 1962 or something. And Trump, who is seen as pro law enforcement, as violence breaks out in New York. We've seen all the videos of the subway, people on the streets just getting smashed. They walk up and just punch them, blind Sunday punch them as sport. But that kind of common sense thinking doesn't assuage a zealot like Joy Reid.
And for me, there's something poetic and actually wonderful about that. It says something good about our country that we're still capable of having that happen. Go DEI. My DEIs are bringing it home.
Oh, there's something poetic coming. Here's poetic. Here's Trump. We're going to come into New York. We're making a big play for New York. I love this city. We're going to straighten New York out. We think we can win New York, says Donald Trump. What Republican ever talked that way? He wants to save New York. Here's Leo Terrell, one of my favorite guys, used to be a hardened Democrat. Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And Terrell he's a Trump supporter now.
If the Democrat Party does not receive anywhere between 85 or 90% of the black vote, there's no Democrat Party. That photograph of that black woman with President Trump is a nightmare for CNN, MSNBC, New York Times.
Yeah, they have to control narrative because you have to brainwash an entire ethnicity to get them to vote in numbers that are above like 90%, which often happened with the black voters. But now we're seeing with these polls that 30% of black men are leaning Trump, and that would remove Democrat win. As long as that happens, Democrats can't win.
They have sent out a false narrative. Trump is a racist. Black people hate Trump. You see that photograph? Mm-hmm. That photograph shows a disconnect as to what the left-wing media is portraying. Newsflash, Trump is likable. Black people like Trump.
Black people like Trump. I like that. I'm white and I like Trump. What he says about narrative is key. This is just a giant campaign, what they say all blacks must think. And it really is degrading. It's actually racist and it's actually manipulative to think that all blacks must think a certain way. Content of character, not color of skin.
And those numbers that you just pointed out, Dana, reflect a shift from the Democrat Party to Donald J. Trump. And you can see a lot more of that because that is what's happening.
So we celebrate that shift, which is going to make Joy Reid go crazy. She's going to start saying things like, how dare the blacks betray their skin color? I've seen this narrative. We've all seen it over and over again. And I just say, some blacks are going to vote Democrat, some are going to vote Republican. I hope that has nothing to do with skin color because, you've talked about my channel. Number one vice president pick is Byron Donalds. And most of my audience is probably white. And that means they hope that he's the next president. Just let that sink in. Not because he's black, but because he's awesome.
Look, everyone knows 4 years ago, Dana, I made the switch when Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Well, I'm still black and I'm voting for Trump.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of blacks. And that's going to really surprise the left when they go, us owning all of media and big tech didn't work. We don't own them. We can't control everyone's mind. They're free thinking individuals, which is a nightmare and a revelation to most Democrats. I'm Doug in Exile.